And hello, everyone. Welcome to a special episode of WXR, which is all about NXT Takeover 2, or NXT Takeover, or NXT Takeover Fatal 4-Way, depending on which way they actually listed it, depending on the week. Because they listed it three different ways each time. But yeah, and joining me as usual is James Phoenix.
Hello.
Marcus Shadow.
Yo.
And special guest, the Fallen Angel.
This is wrestling.
Yep. So let's go and look at the actual pay-per-view now, or the special as it is. But first of all, I'm just going to say I mentioned this to Marcus. I loved the ring.
Yeah.
Just to get that out of the way, I noticed it during the Divas match, or the Women's Championship match, because during the matchup at the side of the ring it said NXT Women's Championship. Same thing during the Fatal 4-Way, it says NXT Championship, and people would stand up and their heads would block it so it wasn't CGI'd on there. It's like the sides of the ring were either an LCD screen or they were some way of they swapped them out after every match, or I don't know, but that was kind of cool. I'm not sure if anyone else noticed that.
I noticed the big ass title belt on the screen that they showed during each of those title matches.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I was just talking about the side where it normally says like Night of Champions or something.
No, I didn't notice.
I didn't notice.
Fair enough. And for me at least, I'm just saying for me at least because I'm pretty sure I've probably not seen something. Something's probably been cut from the UK version. But we started with Sin Cara and Kalisto versus The Ascension, who were the tag team champions.
Yep. That sounds about right.
Yep.
Yep, which Kalisto ended up picking up the win for his tag team, making Sin Cara and Kalisto the new tag team champions of NXT. But overall, personally, like I said, like I mentioned to Marcus during I thought it was an okay match. It wasn't the best tag teams we've seen, even in this tournament, but it wasn't like a horrible tag team match either. It was pretty okay. I liked it. It was a pretty solid match.
Lucha.
Yeah, that I think got a bit over the top after a while.
Sorry, was I not supposed to do that? Every time you said lucha, I was supposed to go so. Lucha, so. That needs to happen when those two and the Usos team up at Survivor Series.
Yeah. I loved Kalisto. I thought he was awesome.
Yeah, his Solid the Soul, his finisher was really nice.
Yeah. It was. I like Kalisto. I don't like the new Sin Cara. I still don't like him. The worst Sin Cara, in my opinion. But I don't really like the new member of the Ascension. I preferred actual Ascension to this, but that doesn't impact the match. If that makes sense. It was just it wasn't as enjoyable as I thought this match could have been because of how they built it.
Right.
Fair enough.
And was there any promos or segments after that?
Renee Young actually interviewed the new tag team champs.
Yes.
Nice. That was cut
on the
stage.
stage.
We went straight to the next match. So, over to whoever wants to take that bit away. I'll go Fallen Angel since you mentioned it first.
What was that?
I said, did you want to mention it, Fallen Angel, because it was cut from the UK one? So, did you want to mention it because it's not on my notes?
Okay. So Renee Young interviewed the NXT Tag Champs. Sin Cara said that it feels incredible. They just beat the longest tag team champions in NXT history. And Kalisto says today they are the Lucha Dragons.
Nice.
The future starts now.
Nice. Although Sin Cara didn't speak.
Yeah, it should be noted that was conducted on the stage immediately following the match. And yeah, I was like, wait, Sin Cara's speaking? The fuck?
Yeah. Tom Phillips reminds everyone that it's the 13th anniversary of the events that took place in New York, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania.
Which events were those?
This
I'm
was on
joking.
September 11th.
I know I was
Um,
joking.
Then Adrian Neville got himself a promo. Says the title gives him validation. People say that he does not belong here, which he doesn't. He belongs on Raw.
Ha!
He is proof that anything can happen. A lot of people said he'd be a flash in the pan. He likes to take risks. He is called. They call him the man that gravity forgot, and he wants everyone to remember that.
Nice.
He says he's never been in a fatal four-way match, but he was never in a ladder match before he beat Bo Dallas. You haven't even scratched the surface with Adrian Neville. There's a difference between being confident and cocky. He is unbeatable right now. He has beaten all three of his opponents in separate matches. Tonight he beats them all in one match. And then we
Nice.
head on to match number 2.
Match number 2, in my opinion, was a horrible match, but it was a hair versus hair match with Sylvester Lefort versus Enzo Amore, with
Okay, so you
Enzo Amore picking up the win.
missed one more.
I didn't know.
There must have been more cut than just the things. It was a little quick squash match. They introduced Baron Corbin, and holy shit, was he nice!
That was fucking awesome.
That was amazing.
Yes, I will say Baron Corbin. He came out. He was impressive. He hit a finisher and defeated C.J. Parker in a match that lasted all of 29 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah.
He used an Uranagi STO.
Yes.
It's basically a catch Sister Abigail. So basically,
Pretty
think
much.
of Sister Abigail, but not from a standing position, i.e., the opponent wasn't standing on the ground. He was caught in almost like a black hole slam, and then he flipped back and did a Sister Abigail. Fucking awesome. It was just like, wow,
badass
okay,
move.
I'm impressed.
Indeed.
And he stands at 6'7", I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, he's got like tattoos and stuff. I'm like, okay, that was a squash debut. That's how you do a squash match.
I hate squash matches.
So do I, but I was impressed with that one. I was like, okay. Because it didn't feel out of place. It didn't feel like, okay, you're doing a squash match for the sake of a squash match. Like, he was actually impressive. And I was just like, wow, okay, I want to see more of this guy.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Then was it the heavy hair match?
Yes.
Tyson Kidd promo, and then the heavy hair match.
Yeah,
The Tyson Kidd promo was awesome.
No, I didn't.
The Tyson Kidd promo. Oh, the Tyson Kidd promo was awesome. Basically, he's sitting there in the back, and he just got to look at the camera, and he basically says, he's doing this thing where he says fact a lot, which I guess is his thing now because it was on his wrestling shorts. And basically he's talking about, the men in the match. He says, fact, one of the men in this match is the most handsome, attractive man in the company, whatever. Fact, one of the men in this match is an innovator in that ring and has done things that no one else can do. Fact, one of the men in that ring, and he mentions something about the third guy. He goes through all this stuff about the different guys. And I think it's fact, one of the guys is a submission expert. I think he mentioned something like that. And he goes through all the guys. And he nails these 4 things. And he names all the different things about the guys. He goes, oh, and Tyler Breeze, Sami Zayn, and Adrian Neville are in the match too.
Nice.
But the fact of the matter is, I am the best at coming. I'm going to prove it. Blah blah blah. I'm the best. I am the best at this company. Fact. I'm going to go out there and win the match tonight. Fact. I am the next NXT champion. Fact.
Fair enough.
That was about it.
But yeah, like I said, the heavy hair match between Sylvester Lefort and Enzo Amore. Enzo Amore wins. It's a horrible fucking match. And it ends with Sylvester running away because he doesn't want to get his hair cut. And that match was boring and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That was a match?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a match to me. I hated that match. I was just like, wow, no.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what anyone else thinks. Because I believe you said Jim really liked that match.
I didn't necessarily like the match. The match, as a match, it was not good. As a gimmick to run other few to keep their gimmicks going and to be something for people to laugh at, it was good. You know, to have
However,
to have Enzo and his big buddy there come out and spell out their catchphrases and shit, that was fun. I like that. And they the big French dude got his head shaved. That was fun. And then yeah, just it wasn't a good match per se, but it wasn't meant to be a good match. It was meant to be a gimmick and blow off to a feud, or at least a continuation of a feud. And
yeah. So
And, the big French dude is Marcus Louis.
Thank you.
yeah. So what did you think when Colin goes to Enzo? Enzo, get the bucket.
That was funny.
See, I'll admit I didn't laugh at. I didn't laugh at any of that. Like I said, I was just like, really, this. Come on, NXT. You're the closest thing WWE has to being a Ring of Honor, and you're producing shit that WWE would piss all over for like a main event or superstars. What the fuck?
Exactly, that's how I felt. And also, when he came out and he introduced himself, at first I was like, okay, he's going to be Italian, that's kind of cool. And then when he spoke, I was just like, really? A guy who sounds like that, you're going to call him Enzo Amore? Really?
Yeah.
It's like, you're not even fucking Italian.
Yep. And I'm gonna say, if I leave anything off as we go down this list, we can cover it afterwards. But just we can get through it faster. But I will say next for me was JoJo was in the ring. Yay, JoJo! And she introduced William Regal.
I'm sorry, I hated JoJo.
Yeah, Jimmy mentioned Vargas doesn't like JoJo.
Yeah,
she looks fine. Her voice is annoying as all fuck.
Yeah, it's the same as the one I believe they had in TNA. She's real fucking nasty with her voice. Oh.
Yeah, but it's fair enough. Like I said, I like JoJo. Willie, obviously, she introduced William Regal. He came out and he introduced the debut of Kenta, who you may know from Ring of Honor and All Japan Pro Wrestling. And
hell yes.
Kenta said he's taking the new name Hydro Tammy or whatever the fuck it was, but he was doing that because he wanted. Wow, you interrupted me on my show. No respect for our product. But yeah, the Kenta thing, like I said, he came out and he did that. He said he was going to take the name for his mentor or something like that. I didn't like that because to me that bit felt like WWE wants to copyright your name. They can't copyright Kenta, so they're going to give you a stupid random ass name just so they can copyright it.
Yep, basically.
And then the Ascension came out and threw him out the ring, and when he got back in, he did some sloppy ass attacks to him. They ran off, and yeah, that was pretty much the end of it.
Yeah.
You guys' thoughts?
I have to say, I loved when he went and got the chair, got in the ring, and then sat on the chair and was just like, "Come on, bring it! I dare you to get in this ring." I was like, "Yes, that's fucking awesome."
This is fucking awesome. And I will also say I'm interested to see how, if WWE decides to be a dick when they use him. Because if you don't know something about Kenta, I was looking information about this guy as we were watching his premiere because I was interested in who this guy was because he seemed to be kind of a big deal. And we were looking it up, and he's actually he's Kenta Kobayashi, not the original guy who was like 40, but he's been mentored by the original guy. But this particular Kenta Kobayashi happens to be the dude who invented the go to sleep. And so I'm wondering, knowing how big of a dick WWE are, i.e. the example from last week where the WWE shop search now asks, did you mean CM Pink? Would they turn around and have them start using that move and acting like nobody else used it, making it a big deal to try to disparage CM Punk? Because I feel like WWE are dicks and they would do that.
To be fair, if he invented the move, it's not really too dickish if he's invented the move and he's famous for using it to give him his move.
True.
That's like, was it really dickish when WWE gave Undertaker the last ride and called it the most devastating powerbomb in the business, despite the fact we know the jackknife was equally as powerful?
Mm-hmm.
What about Batista?
And it's like, no, it's his finisher, and he's big enough to do it.
I believe what the Dickery Jim was referring to WWE not only allowing him to use it, which is fair enough because he invented it, but then to also turn around and say he's the only one to ever have used it in WWE.
I don't think they'll turn around and say he's the only one to use. I just don't think they're going to mention anyone else has used it, which it's fair enough. It's like when Jack Swagger does the ankle lock. Even though Ken Shamrock did it first and then Kurt Angle after him, they didn't feel the need to start listing all the people that did the ankle lock. Or
I just
when Randy Orton does the RKO, they don't mention the diamond cutter every time.
True. I just hope, and I want to see him use his version of the go to sleep, because he's got another version that only he uses, where he puts him into an Argentine backbreaker and drops the back onto the knee. I'm just like, I want to see that.
No, he drops the back of the head onto the knee.
Back of the head, yeah.
Yep, which, like I said, I like that promo. I will admit the bit with the chair was kind of cool, and he sat on it until he got up, like, within 2 seconds and slammed it down, making the whole thing seem like, what was the point?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't like to say this, but is it just me or did William Regal seem bored?
He didn't seem
He
bored.
always seems bored.
I think William Regal didn't seem bored. He came out, he was being respectful, and he was doing his more official voice. And when you saw Kenta in the ring, when he did the chair thing, you literally, if you looked at William Regal's face, you saw him grin and get excited and look at the crowd like, yeah, this is what you people like, yay.
Fair
Like,
enough,
this is the future, I'm helping people out.
Fair enough.
But that's when he does that voice, when he's more like calm like that, it's because that's more of his official tone, if that makes sense. So he doesn't overstate anything or oversell something or make it all about him. Which I realize to someone that watches Raw, where Triple H comes out and makes it all about himself every week, that concept would be foreign.
I do have to say, I love what William Regal did. It was subtle, but I loved it because you don't see people do that, and it showed tremendous respect to Kenta and just, like I said, a lot of subtlety of when Ascension came out and basically threw Kenta out of the ring and started getting in Regal's face. Regal just kind of looked at them, and then just kind of took a couple steps back because he realized, yeah, you just pissed off Kenta. I'm not going to interfere in this.
Yep. Which was kind of cool. The stuff Kenta did wasn't, but I know Kenta can be awesome. I just feel if you're going to make him do some impressive moves or an attack on his debut, don't put him in a suit that restricts his movements.
Yeah.
But next on my list, like I'll go down my list first, and anything I've missed out, I'll go to Kage for. Next was a shitty squash match between Bull Dempsey and Mojo Rowley, or whoever he's called, with Bull Dempsey winning.
Yeah. I don't get hyped. I stay hyped.
I felt this was a better match than the Hair v Hair match. And when I saw Mojo come out, I kind of knew what to expect because at the last Takeover, it was kind of the same. I'm trying to remember if it was Mojo's debut or not. I can't remember. I want to say it was. But he came out and got squashed. I'm like, okay, it's Mojo. This is going to be a squash match because that's his gimmick. He's basically the Brooklyn Brawler or Zack Ryder of NXT. I'm okay with this.
That's not at all accurate. He's won matches, and as they showed for their taunt, it's led because they'd been winning tag team matches together, and then Bull Dempsey turned on him.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I just assumed that was his gimmick just because, like I said, the last time I saw him, it was the same thing. So I was like, okay, he obviously has talent, but he's, this is what he's meant to do. Fair enough. And it was entertaining. At least to me.
And then we got Enzo Amore and his bodyguard and shit grabbing the bald guy with the towel over his head, or Marcus Louis, and dragging him to the ring, and revealed his bald head. Oh, shocker, he's bald.
Mm-hmm. No, he's not bald. He's B-A-W-L-D, bald.
Yeah, that doesn't make it better. That segment was dull.
Have I said how much I hate that gimmick?
Then on my one, we cut to Bayley versus Charlotte. Charlotte was the women's champion, defending her title, and she defended it accurately. This is the matchup I noticed aside saying women's championship, and that was a pretty damn good match.
It's a fucking awesome match.
And the segment at the end was pretty. Yeah, and the segment at the end where Sasha Banks comes out, attacks Bayley, then Charlotte saves her. That was kind of cool. She earned her respect.
I don't want to ask you a question here, Mo, because when Sasha jumped in the ring, there was a very loud back and forth chant. I couldn't hear what they were chanting. Do you know what that was?
I didn't hear the chants.
Okay. It was a very loud chant. It had something to do with whatever was on her T-shirt.
Fair enough. But yeah, I didn't hear the chance. But yeah, so you got that, which that was kind of cool. And I will say, like I mentioned the other week, I don't like Bailey as a character. In the ring, she's great. I just don't like
Yeah.
the 5-year-old child she portrays.
I can agree with that.
Why not? That's what AJ Lee did the first 3 years she was in the company.
No, AJ was more like a nerdy geek than acting like a baby with pigtails and really acting like a baby with teddy bears and being treated like a child.
Oh, she skipped out to the ring. She had her hair pulled up like that. She did that thing where she was like chewing on her finger like she was nervous. I mean, that's not too far off.
Yeah, it is if you've actually watched NXT.
Fair enough.
Two things. One, Fallen Angel, did you happen to hear the chants?
I did. I can't remember what the fuck they were saying though.
That's something. No, she's not.
Yeah.
I think it was like she's a hunter or some shit.
I think it was saying something like, she is Ratchet. No, she's not.
Yeah, because her shirt said like Ratchet or Hatchet or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Ratchet.
Fair enough. But what did Fallen Angel think of the match?
Oh, sure. Now, don't let me finish my opinions.
You don't get them.
I'm sorry, you interrupted us and said, wait a minute, and went to Fallen Angel. I assumed it was because you wanted the Fallen Angels thing and not because you wanted it to rotate around you. My bad, continue.
No, I said I have two things, and the first was the question to the Fallen Angel. And the second thing I was going to say is, in terms of Bailey, I actually kind of like her gimmick. It kind of works. However, it works in that indie feel, kind of. Like, I could totally see this character in something like Shimmer or ROH, and that's not as an insult to any of them. I see that kind of Shimmer or ROH. I think this kind of gimmick is, the way she does it is a little out of place for a WWE environment, even NXT. But I think it kind of works because that's kind of, especially after Jim mentioned that she's been trained by Serena and they were both in like Glimmer. As soon as he said that, everything clicked into place for me. I was like, she was in Glimmer. Okay, now the gimmick kind of makes sense.
But to be fair,
it's called Shimmer, not Glimmer.
Shimmer, sorry.
Yeah, and like I said, to be fair though, when you've seen her on NXT every week, it wasn't her coming out with the tassels and stuff. Every week when she comes out, she's like a scared little child that can't do anything with wrestling and is all like really like, oh, goo goo, and it's like, no.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah,
no.
that. No.
Her gimmick I don't like.
Yeah, I think the personality is fine. I think if that's what she does every week, what you just said, then yeah, no. But
yeah, but what fair enough. But what does Fallen Angel think? Because he hasn't mentioned anything for this match.
The match overall was really good. I did skip through it a bit. Like, I haven't watched all of NXT Takeover too, but I will be going back to watch all of it. What I did watch was really nice and really well done, and I can't believe that the women were actually sweating after their match.
yeah.
Women don't sweat; they perspire.
Mm-hmm.
No, they shimmer. But if you actually watch the match, like, they were going full bore. They were going hard at it, and I have to say, they were so impressive. I think I even said this during the match while Jim and I were watching. I think I said it to Jim of, wow, they're better than a lot of the male superstars. Like, this is a really high caliber match, even by like male superstar standards. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, you did say that.
Yep.
Yeah, and I also like to say, I also like the fact that, the fact that the move, it all looked legitimate. Like, there was at one point at the end of the match where Charlotte threw Bale in the back of Bailey's head back first onto the freaking turnbuckle. I thought she had a concussion.
Yep.
Yeah, and I love that the ref sold that too, because as soon as the back of her head hit that lower, the first rung turnbuckle pad, he literally jumped and basically was like, "Oh shit," because like it looked like he didn't know if she was actually hurt or not. I'm like, these chicks don't fuck around. I'm just like, wow, I want to see more of this.
Well, let's not forget one of them is a goddamn Flair.
This is true.
Did he jump up or jump to his side?
He jumped up like, oh shit.
I will say one of them being a flair doesn't mean anything, because let's not forget half of Ryback's is supposed to be a perfect.
Touche.
Sometimes the apple does fall a little too far from the train.
Also, I do believe I said to Jim after we saw this match, yeah, WWE needs to future endeavor most of their Divas division and just call up the NXT Divas, because most of the WWE Divas right now are shit compared to NXT.
See, I would disagree with that strongly. Only because when we've had like you've seen like Paige in NXT, awesome as fuck. When they've brought her onto the main roster, she hasn't had the awesome matches or wrestled as much as she did in the NXT, which is the same thing with a lot of the NXT guys, because once they go up onto Raw, Raw's more of the entertainment show, so they limit the wrestling.
Yeah.
I honestly believe, based on seeing them train and stuff on like Total Divas and stuff, like if you were to like let Natalia and like the Bellas or someone like that go at it in the ring, I honestly believe, and actually let them wrestle properly, you would get a decent match.
Right, but I'm also thinking that a big reason they don't let them do that, aside from the whole kiddie-friendly thing and the whole entertainment thing, is I'm willing to bet that half that Divas roster, the half that's based on modeling and looks, that have no talent, like, the Funkadactyls, like,
They have looks.
can't keep up with them. Well,
And I'm
I could
kidding.
do the racist thing, I'm not going to, but, I mean,
So
it's I don't know.
Essentially the cast of Total Divas.
Yeah, basically all I'm saying is if they get rid of the dead weight, keep the actual talent, call up the NXT talent, and put them out there and say wrestle, I think it'd be fucking awesome. But I think it's those who have no talent or very little talent are holding back those who have exceptional talent.
Yep, and I didn't say it had anything to do with being kiddie friendly. I said it's because it's the entertainment show. It's like, name your favorite era. I think it's the Attitude Era. Come on, they weren't Ring of Honor style matches. They weren't NXT caliber matches.
No,
but they were
not
just
all of
for entertainment. Which I think that's the reason. Like some of the Total Diva ones, like most of the ones on Total Divas, are actually pretty good. It's just WWE doesn't let them wrestle, which is always a shame in my opinion. Like for example, Natalia's on there. You don't see Natalia wrestle properly, which is a damn shame. Same thing with the Bellas; they can wrestle.
Yeah.
But the last match for me, the last part for me on my list was the Fatal 4-Way. Tyler Breeze, Sami Zayn, Tyson Kidd, and champion Adrian Neville for the NXT Championship.
Match of the year.
Yeah, this one got my match of the night with Adrian Neville picking up the victory. I honestly thought that was a great Fatal 4-Way. It didn't fall into the cliches of most Fatal 4-Way matches in WWE. It's like, oh, the people aren't going to try as hard because it's a 4-Way. They're going to take breaks. It felt like all four were actually determined to try and get themselves showcased, which worked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think they definitely built up through the match and just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when it got to the point where they started, this is wrestling chant, like 3/4 of the way into the match, and then it just got fucking better.
Yep.
Yeah, I like this match too. I didn't think this wasn't my match, then mine was definitely the Divas one because that match was just really awesome. But this was a very good match. I felt that it started a little awkward for me. I wasn't really feeling it at the beginning, but like you said, Fallen Angel, once it started ramping up, it got better and better and better. I was a little disappointed that Adrian Neville was basically kept out of like 75% of the match, and I'm like, okay. So it's like from the off, you could tell, yeah, he's gonna come in and basically win because he's gonna be the fresh guy. I mean, granted, he was getting pummeled to stay out of the ring, but still, the fact that he wasn't in there constantly taking bumps and constantly trying to fight, it's like, yeah, he's gonna come in and win. And I honestly thought he was gonna lose, and they were gonna then take him and call him up to the main roster because I think he's ready.
Yeah, and I think move of the night, the twin powerbomb superplex.
Yes. That was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That was insane. I would also like to say runner-up move of the night: Sami Zayn diving through the middle rope to DDT Tyler Breeze on the ramp.
Yes. That got me to say out loud, and Jim can attest to this. What the shit?
Yeah.
But he has done that before with
Ole,
Cesaro.
ole, 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 ole.
That's fair enough. Fallen Angel, but it's not something you see every day.
No.
No.
Nor is the Red Arrow, which by God is an impressive finisher.
Yep. Which, like I said, I honestly really like this matchup. It's a shame Tyson Kidd's not on the main roster anymore. I really do like Tyson Kidd. I kind of hope Tyson Kidd would win this. I want him to be a champion. But I wasn't disappointed that Adrian Neville won, if that makes sense, because it wasn't like I was against anyone.
Right.
Yeah. Well, when Tyson Kidd went for the cover and Breeze pulled him off, the crowd started chanting, "Thank you, Tyler."
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when friggin' Tyler Breeze got put in the damn sharpshooter, was about to tap out, Adrian slid in and held his hand up to make sure that he couldn't tap out. The crowd was like, "Thank you, Neville."
Yep. But over to Fallen Angel, which bits did I leave out?
I think it was just a couple of it was mainly just
The rest of the promos.
interviews and vignettes with
Yeah.
the four guys in the Fatal 4-Way.
Ah, fair enough. So I
They
didn't
each
miss
got their own
any,
little promo.
so I didn't miss any like important matches or anything. Fair enough.
No.
So let's go to our final thoughts. What did everyone think?
Well, before that, I just would like to point out the thing that impressed me the most that night had to have come from Charlotte Flair, because her finishing move it's basically a modified version of what's that move that Cena does? Is it the throwback, the one where he does the running start and then flips over the person? It's
It might be. I don't remember which move you're talking about with Cena doing it.
It's where I think usually they're seated. Yeah, I think they're usually seated, and he like runs from behind them, jumps, flips over them, and drops down to the cutter. It's basically Charlotte's finishing move.
Ah, fair enough.
But the difference is that Cena gets a running start, and I don't think he's as tall as Charlotte is. And I found it so impressive that she does it from a standing position as opposed to a running start. So she has, I don't know where the hell she gets her momentum from, because she does it really effing fast. And I'm just like, wow, where did that momentum come from? And the fact that she's so tall and basically has no run-up, so everything comes from her leg strength to get that verticality and the momentum to be able to flip around. I'm just like, wow, I'm kind of impressed that she does that without snapping her neck.
Yep.
And it looks clean. But anyway, yes, go ahead with your final verdicts.
Yeah. Who wants to go first with our final verdicts?
I will, because I need to disappear.
I've been saying that for years.
Hmm.
Ah,
I'm going to disappear
Fanta.
tonight.
No, your final thought.
Final thoughts. I think it was really good. I think it was better than Takeover. It
By far.
grew through. Yeah, it grew throughout the night with maybe one or two hiccups, but it just got better and better. And I think they played their cards right. They put the matches in the correct order where they needed to be, and all the works. Everything in each match worked for the characters and what they did, except for Adrian Neville pulling the ref out of the ring.
Fair enough.
So
I will say to you when you mentioned that, I will say I mentioned to you others I thought it wasn't as good as Takeover 1, but it was still pretty damn good.
Yeah. So are we doing a point thingamajig?
Yeah, you can do if you want.
So
10.
out of 5, I'd definitely give it a 4.5.
Out of 5.
As
Okay.
I said, there were hiccups and Kevin Steen chants.
Yep.
Can't
There was a
wait.
CM Punk chant at one point.
Yes. So, with that said, I will be leaving because I need to get ready for work.
Okay, and I will say
Thanks
thank
for
you for
joining
joining
us.
us, Fallen Angel.
Bye, Fallen Angel.
Okay, who wants to go next?
How do we convert his score from Australian points?
Nah, Jim can go next.
Okay. I thought this was much better than Takeover 1, personally. I thought this had more good matches and more of a balance of matches. Whereas it felt like with Takeover 1, most of the matches were shit, or at least mediocre, and then the main event was good. This felt like, okay, they were kind of balancing it out. It was like, okay, we open with decent tag team match, and then a decent tag team match, squash match, or just a hair v hair match. Good Divas match, squash match. And then in the main event it was really good. It felt like they balanced it out with, okay, there's going to be a gimmick match and a squash match, but there's going to be good matches too to balance it out, and they're going to be offsetting each other. And I thought that made it a very balanced show. And overall, I really liked it. The matches were really good. We're really starting with the fact that a lot of these guys come out and they have gimmicks and have characters, and they're not a bunch of bland superstars like everybody on the main roster seems to be blending together these days. And I like the fact these guys really stood out individually for what they were. And I thought that was really cool in NXT. And I was excited to watch NXT. And I was glued to it. I was watching. I wanted to see what was going to happen and how the matches were going to end. And you know me, that doesn't happen with me in Raw anymore. Hell, just a couple hours ago, I freaking fell asleep for like 20 minutes right as the Reigns Rollins match was starting. I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm falling asleep during Raw. And NXT, I was looking for the whole thing. I was glued to the TV. What does that say about your main roster compared to your NXT roster?
To be fair, Rollins v Reigns wasn't terrible. You're giving the impression that was a horrible match.
I didn't say it was a horrible match. I was just saying the fact that, as I said, before the match started, I fell asleep because I was bored by whatever the fuck happened before that. So I'm just saying the fact that I wasn't glued to the TV wanting to see everything that was going on Raw, but with NXT, I was excited. I wanted to see what was going on. I wanted to see the next match, especially during that main event. I was glued to that main event, hoping Sami Zayn was going to win because I thought he was really impressive in that match personally. But it was just like, I was excited for wrestling, and that doesn't happen. Once in a while I get excited for something else. Oh, Jericho's coming back, or oh, there's The Rock, or oh, there's gonna be a big event or whatever. Oh, they're gonna reveal something. But for the most part, Raw, it's like you're slagging through it for the sake of getting through it, and that's not good.
And even the pay-per-views are like that.
Yeah,
too.
the pay-per-views are getting like that too. But I feel NXT is like this. I'm gonna start watching NXT every week. It's too good for me not to. And the takeover was just, it's something you really wanted to watch it. You wanted to see what was happening. It was a great show, and I would give it a 4.5 out of 5, just because. Okay, I'll give you Enzo Amore was a little ridiculous, and that squash match was okay, but I would give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah, I have to agree with Jim and with Fallen Angel. I thought this was far and away better than the first Takeover. I felt the Divas match was as good as Charlotte v. Natalya, if not better. And don't get me wrong, I love this Charlotte v. Natalya match because I was like, oh my god, I actually get to see Natalya wrestle. Holy shit. And that was a very, very good match. But I don't know. I like how Bayley wrestles. And I don't know if that's just my personal taste, but I really like how she performs in the ring. I was like, wow, she's really impressive. And of course, Charlotte's always impressive. It's just, let's face it, she's tall and she's built. She is like stacked. I'm like, wow, she's in phenomenal shape. But yeah, this one, like Jim said, was very balanced, this Takeover. And I think it had more higher caliber matches than Takeover 1. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed this one more than Takeover 1 because I'll be honest, I wasn't looking too forward to the first Takeover. I was looking forward to it to the point of, okay, it's NXT, it's going to be something new. I kind of want to see these new quote new superstars unquote, these superstars and divas I haven't seen before. And to be honest, as good as Takeover 1 was, I felt kind of underwhelmed. But with this one, I felt like I actually got a decent to very good showcase of what the NXT talent is about and can do, which I didn't feel I got from Takeover 1. But overall, like I said, the matches were great. The main event was awesome. Divas match was awesome. Yeah, the hair v hair match was kind of shit. Let's be honest here. And the tag team match wasn't that great. the Luchas made that match. Sorry, Ascension, but yeah, no. Callisto was just that good. So yeah, I'll give this also overall a 4.5 out of 5. It was a very, very good pay-per-view overall.
Fair enough. And as I mentioned, I disagreed with the others. Like when you mentioned like the women's one, I thought the Natalia match was just head and shoulders above this one. In terms of the balance of the pay-per-view, I thought, okay, crap tag team match. Well, not crap, but crap in terms of NXT, because we had a whole tournament of these matches, and this is the worst one. Heavy hair, shit. William Regal introduced Kenta, cool, and they made it all about the Ascension, which is basically no different than when they had the John Cena thing with the legends in the ring, where everyone seemed to be against. Bill Dempey versus Mojo squash match, crap, and then 2 good matches. I thought, okay, but I didn't like that because to me, NXT Arrival was awesome. NXT Takeover was less awesome than Arrival because it started to feel like, okay, you're starting to include more WWE Raw style matches. This one, it's like, okay, you've watered it down even more to the point where it's more like a regular. Like it's bad for this one. In my opinion, is a worse pay-per-view than SummerSlam was, and it shouldn't be. It's still a good pay-per-view. It just wasn't that good. So out of 5, I'd probably give it about 3. I'll go 3 out of 5.
Fair enough.
It's still good. It's just it's not NXT.
That's probably because you watch it every week and I don't, so I don't see the build up to it. I see what's actually there, and I'm just like, okay, this is, and I'm also with that, and I'm comparing it to, WWE mainstream, and it's just like, yeah, this is fucking awesome compared to the schlock they put out on Raw and the
I
other
was also
pay-per-views.
comparing it to the other 3 NXT, also the other 2 NXT specials. It's
Yeah,
like
and I
none of
didn't
them.
see the first one.
Yeah, you saw the other one. The other one had more good matches. This
Takeover.
one, like, how was there 2 segments dedicated to heavy hair?
Yeah,
What the hell? It felt like, like the WWE pay-per-views where
yeah.
they named it Fatal 4-Way when originally it was called 2, so they named it after the main match so you know what type of matchup you're getting. Only the 2 main events were really great, and the rest of it was just their type thing with some of the other stuff. And it's like that's how they do all their normal pay-per-views. I don't like that.
I can agree. I can kind of understand that.
But this was your look at NXT Takeover 2 or Takeover Fatal 4-Way. I'm just going to get all the names out that they keep calling it every week because they kept changing the name, even during the event. Oh, and there is one thing I will point out. It was fucking awesome at the beginning. I believe Marcus mentioned this as well, and I said that as well. When I it might not have been Mark. I was discussing with my brother because he watched it too. But I loved the WWE Then, Now, Forever, where it kept being interrupted by NXT. Like they were injecting themselves over the Then, Now, Forever logo.
I didn't see that.
That was fucking awesome.
I did see that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Real quick for the event, I also want to give props to Tom Phillips, Byron Saxon, and Renee Young for being a far better announced team than the Raw announced team.
Yep, I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. And I also want to say, good for Charlotte for keeping her title, considering this week her father was having surgery and stuff, and he is currently recovering. So, yay, good news for the Flairs all round.
Indeed.
Woo! Woo! But yeah, I was your host for this as the NXT guy, if you will, from WXR. Thank you. And tune in to WXR tomorrow night for our special where we're all doing the WrestleMania card if you want to see. Woo!